Tonight, RCMP and Weyburn look for answers in a shooting that took place on Friday. Premier Scott Moe plans to speak to Prime Minister Mark Carney on tariffs affecting canola.
From our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Hello and thank you for joining us tonight. Saskatchewan RCMP continued to ask the public for information on the shooting that took place Friday evening of a woman riding in a vehicle near Weyburn. Sierra D'Souza Butts visited the city as police continue to investigate the incident.
With so many unknowns up in the air, residents in Weyburn continue to wonder what happened late last week.
Everybody wants to have answers to what happened, and we don't know them, and that is unsettling. I think people are sad. I think people are angry.
Just after 8 p.m. on Friday, Saskatchewan RCMP received a report of a person who was seriously injured in a black Ford Explorer traveling on Highway 39 about 3 kilometers northwest of Weyburn. Police say a loud crack indicated someone had discharged a firearm, striking the vehicle and injuring the passenger, a 44-year-old woman who was later declared dead at the scene after being shot. The driver of the SUV, who was the only other person in the vehicle, was uninjured.
This is a small city, and a lot of us know the individuals that were involved in the incident, and we know their families, and our thoughts and prayers are with them.
Since the incident, police have identified the owner of a white pickup truck and a vehicle and trailer that was traveling at the time of the incident. However, RCMP say both owners are not connected to the ongoing suspicious death investigation. In an update on Monday, police asked anyone who have been in the area to come forward, stating maybe you were hunting or target shooting, or perhaps you were with or know someone who was. Maybe you have vehicle dash cam footage from traveling Highway 39 that night, adding to please give investigators a call to assist in getting answers for the victim's family and community.
We are putting our faith in our community to stand together, support one another, and trust in the RCMP that they will move this investigation along.
As the investigation continues, RCMP says it has received many tips from the public so far, which has pushed the investigation forward, and urges anyone with additional information to contact police. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Weyburn.
Well, a courtroom full of potential jurors in the assault trial of a former school principal was unexpectedly sent home this morning. Jury selection in Duff Friesen's trial was set to begin at 10 a.m., but after a 40-minute delay, potential jurors were dismissed after the defense asked for an adjournment. Friesen is facing 7 charges of assault with a weapon stemming from allegations while he was a principal at the then-called Christian Center Academy in 2003 and 2004. The school is now known as Valor Academy. Friesen stood trial in May for a separate set of charges involving different complainants. A jury found him guilty of 1 count of assault with a weapon and not guilty on the other 3 counts. There's no word on when Friesen's current trial will resume. Meantime, 2 men were also sent to hospital after being assaulted during a robbery at a home in the Pleasant Hill neighborhood in Saskatoon. Police were called to a residence in the 100 block of Avenue S South on Saturday morning at about 6 o'clock. 3 men inside at the time reported that 2 people they didn't know came into the house armed with a knife, baton, and a gun and assaulted 2 of them. They then stole some belongings before leaving. The 2 men attacked, aged 34 and 35, were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. And police say a 51-year-old woman was forced to jump from a window of a home in the 400 block of Avenue S South in Saskatoon as well. Police were called at about 10 o'clock Friday night. The victim said a woman she knew was in her home and threatened her with a gun. The victim escaped and the suspect left and was found not long after. The 30-year-old had a machete but not a gun. She is facing break and entering and weapons charges. Weyburn RCMP are investigating a potential impersonation of a police officer. On September 13th at around 10:40 p.m., an individual was driving down a grid road near Middale when a vehicle showed up behind them with blue and red flashing lights. Both vehicles would slow down, but the one with the blue and red lights sped up and fled the scene. The vehicle is described as a 2000 Chevrolet heavy-duty truck, granite gray in color, with a flat deck and a heavy-duty rack. The blue and red flashing lights were mounted near the rear-view mirror. Anyone with information is asked to call RCMP. An arrest warrant has been issued for an inmate who escaped the Saskatchewan penitentiary over the weekend. This is who officials are looking for, 28-year-old Donald Bouchan, who was discovered missing from the prison on Saturday night. Well, as harvest continues in Saskatchewan and across Canada, many producers have concerns regarding the impact of tariffs. Premier Scott Moe will soon be speaking with the Prime Minister regarding Chinese canola tariffs. But after traveling to Beijing last week, Hallie Mandrick has more.
Moe is on his way to Ottawa following a recent trip to China and Japan.
It was, at least or even more positive than I had anticipated. And again, I say there, and I've said this before, there are going to be steps in building this relationship that will ultimately culminate in, the Prime Minister and the President coming to some sort of agreement. That's the hope, that's the ambition, and that's, what we hope to see before the end of the calendar year.
According to Moe, meetings had a specific focus on Chinese tariffs imposed on Canadian canola and other Saskatchewan exports. This comes as relations between Canada and its largest trading partner, the United States, have been heavily strained due to tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump, making Canada focus on strengthening relationships with other trade partners.
China is very interested in not looking back but looking forward and in recalibrating the trade relationship that we have and moving forward in a pragmatic and reasonable fashion that is good for both countries.
For Saskatchewan producers, the meeting comes at an important time.
It's a financial burden on farmers, and the longer it drags out, the more harm there's going to be done to producers' bottom lines.
Probelski says producers are hopeful that Moe's visit to Ottawa will result in some swift changes to the tariffs which are currently in place.
These tariffs aren't something that we as producers wanted or did anything wrong. It's just a political issue that has put our producers in kind of in the crossfire. So it's something that needs to be resolved as quickly as possible.
In the meantime, Moe has a message for any Saskatchewan farmers who may be feeling the uncertainty.
Continue to do what you do well. Your government of Saskatchewan is working alongside the government of Canada to ensure that in this very unstable trading environment and market access environment that we're doing our level best to fight like hell and represent you in all of the markets of interest that we have, whether that be the United States of America or whether that be in a market like China.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Leaked information from a forensic audit is asking an organization that represents the chiefs of 74 Saskatchewan First Nations what happened to millions of missing dollars. Keenan Sorokan with more.
The Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations is being asked to explain more than $34 million in expenses. A leaked photo of a forensic audit presentation from an Indigenous Services Canada investigation shows questionable, ineligible, and unsupported transactions dating back to April 1st of 2019. The audit performed by KPMG reviewed more than $47 million in transactions, flagging more than $34 million worth of them, separating $3.7 million as ineligible, more than $30 million as questionable, and $155,000 as unsupported. The FSIN did not respond to CTV's request for a comment and refused to allow any questions about the audit at a news conference for a separate matter Monday. But Premier Scott Moe addressed the audit after landing in Saskatoon from his Chinese trade mission.
If there are issues, we would always be looking at ensuring that we are protecting not only the investments that Saskatchewan people are making that may relate to the FSIN, but are protecting, how those investments are actually flowing to individuals and to communities.
The largest item is more than $23 million in COVID-19 funding. Another item questions nearly $8 million in administration fees. Indigenous Services says it first met with FSIN leadership in June as an opportunity to submit more documentation, then returned last week to present the findings, saying, as next steps, the audit report will be finalized and a summary letter will be sent to the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations detailing recommendations. A summary of the audit findings will be posted to the Indigenous Services website and be available to the public by the end of the month. Keenan Sorokan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, southern Saskatchewan received some major rainfall over the weekend. On Saturday, Regina saw at least 50 millimeters of rain. The high level of rainfall caused some flooding in areas of the city, including on the Ring Road near the Ross Avenue overpass. The city says it takes these situations very seriously, and over the next 5 years is investing over $240 million in Regina's wastewater and stormwater system.
So responding to a flooding event during a rainstorm with particular road closures can be very challenging because it is so dynamic, and sometimes we do have crews that are able to go and actually rectify a situation so something that starts to flood can come down. In this case, with the Ring Road flooding that we did see, we used our variable message signs that we see around the Ring Road to inform motorists. We physically closed some of the accesses to ensure that people weren't accessing the road, and we also just liaised with our fire and protective services and our RPS to try and get that information out.
The city says they expect the impact from Saturday's storm to be minimal. Meantime, Saskatoon residents who also saw flooding and property damage following the heavy rainfall last month may be eligible for financial help from the province. Residents impacted by the August 8th storm can apply to the Provincial Disaster Assistance Program known as PDAP. Although the city of Saskatoon is not responsible for the program, affected residents can pick up information packages along with an application form in the lobby of City Hall. All claims must be submitted to PDAP by February 8th of next year, and all repair work must be completed by August 8th of next year. People can also call PDAP directly with questions or for help. Now, all that rain over the weekend did cause some problems, but it also provided some fun for the local paddling club. Members of Rapid, a Regina recreational paddling club, took to Wascana Creek on Sunday and experienced some rare whitewater conditions. The rain that fell in the Regina area has been draining into the creek, creating some perfect water levels for kayaking and canoeing. The flow rate of Wascana Creek rose almost 15 times from what it had been the day before.
Later in the season like this, completely unexpected. The creek is so low normally that we give up paddling on parts of it, and so to have this come through is just a windfall. Christmas for paddlers, and getting out there and all of a sudden realizing within 20 minutes of Regina you're running rapids.
The flow in Wascana Creek has been steadily dropping since Sunday. Flows are now nearly back to pre-rainfall levels. And Sunday marked Firefighters National Memorial Day across Canada. Fire services across the country, including in Saskatoon, took a moment of silence to recognize the day. The Saskatoon Fire Department observed a moment of silence across the city at 10 a.m. Flags at the fire halls were also flown at half-mast in memory of those who have died helping others. And a proclamation was signed to officially make today Saskatchewan Music Education Day. The Saskatchewan Music Educators Association celebrated by launching new resource kits that will be available to music teachers across the province. Local school groups performed and demonstrated the instruments, which include bucket drums, boom whackers, and movement scarves.
It's the ultimate team sport, music. You're all aiming for the same end. You're not generally competing against anybody else in your group. It's done well. It's a family.
Educators can apply for a classroom kit through the SMEA website. People geared up over the weekend in a race to fight MS. The annual MS bike race took to the streets of Wascana, racing for money and awareness for multiple sclerosis. Almost 250 bikes hit the pavement in the resort town in Prince Albert National Park for the 25th anniversary of the race. More than $4 million has been raised since the fundraiser started. Some of the racers were taking part on behalf of loved ones with MS. Participants coming from Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba. One of the organizers say while medals were handed out, the true winner is the fight against multiple sclerosis.
I think the biggest thing about MS is that because MS is a neurological disease that you don't see everything with, where a lot of people could be suffering from MS, but you'll never know just because of what they're going through internally.
Well, this event raised $320,000 with proceeds supporting more than 90,000 Canadians living with MS, funding critical research, programs, and community services. I would say a little foggy, misty this morning, but all that fog kind of really cleared out, and it made for a great day in the Queen City and much of the central and southern part of the province, really throughout all throughout the province. Seeing a little bit of moisture in some areas throughout, but nonetheless, it was great. And that's only going to continue. Temperatures and conditions are going to be fairly average over the next few days. Our high today was around 24 degrees, a little above our average, around that 18-degree mark. So like I said, nonetheless, it was great. So not much to tell you on our weather tracker here. We'll see a little bit of some light precipitation really hovering over that Manitoba-Saskatchewan border, but nothing for the major cities, Prince Albert, Saskatoon, Regina, Swift Current, Estevan. We might see a little bit of cloud coverage rolling in by Wednesday there, but yeah, we don't have much in terms of active weather to tell you there. Our overnight lows tonight still sticking within those double-digit temperatures. Going to see a little cloud coverage in some parts of the province, but for North Battleford, clear skies overnight and 11 degrees. Double digits also expected for tomorrow. Those low 20s to mid-20s expected. Might see a little more cloud coverage in the Weyburn and Estevan area, but it is around that average mark that we'd like to see for this time of year as we are heading into fall. 11 degrees overnight for the Regina area, mainly sunny expected for tomorrow. 24 degrees. Wind's going to be fairly calm out of the northwest. 20 to 30 kilometers is expected for it to get up to. So to give you a clear picture of what's to come over the next 7 days, temperatures remaining average. 24 degrees expected for tomorrow, down to 21 for Wednesday there. Cooling off a bit more on Thursday. 19 degrees is still quite warm. 21 expected to kick off our weekend on Friday, and then 24 remaining for Saturday, Sunday there. 21, and you can see a consistent pattern. Sunshine expected really all throughout the next 7 days. So it looks to be like it's going to be shaping up quite nicely. Well, Terry Fox's legacy hits close to home for many Canadians, and the annual Terry Fox Run provided an opportunity for people to connect and run for a cure in Saskatoon. Hallie Mandrick has more.
The 45th annual Terry Fox Run had countless Canadians across the country reflecting on Fox's legacy.
And even though I wasn't quite sure, because I was so young, what I was exactly fighting for, I fought for it because Terry fought for it, and it really inspired me to keep going and finish the battle.
Hundreds gathered in Saskatoon's Besborough Gardens to raise money for cancer research and talk about how the courageous 22-year-old inspired a whole country.
Terry's dream was that there would be a cure for cancer, and although our treatments are more advanced now, there's still no cure, and people are still diagnosed and die from cancer every day. And I think being 45 years, it's incredible the amount of money that's raised and his legacy of the treatments that are available and things like that. And it's amazing how one person can impact the world that way.
Saskatoon's run was an opportunity to celebrate the success of the nationwide event and reflect on the various ways people are impacted by cancer. Many cancer survivors were in attendance, wearing red Terry's team shirts.
Everyone needs hope while they're going through treatment, no matter kind of what point you're at, and your family needs the hope too. And so keeping the battle in mind, but getting through it and knowing that there is hope at the end, and you have to keep going.
Also in attendance were those who have witnessed loved ones receive a cancer diagnosis and have been inspired to make a difference in their own way.
I'm actually in medicine now, studying to become a doctor and hopefully work with cancer research, or even with people dealing with cancer. And so, yeah, I really don't think that I would be here today if it weren't for Terry Fox.
According to the Terry Fox Foundation, the annual walk has raised over $900 million worldwide in Terry Fox's name. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
And people gathered in Saskatoon to go the distance in support of healthcare in that city. Hundreds turned out for the Run for Saskatoon. The money raised went towards St. Paul's Hospital Foundation. Saskatoon's Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association also helped to organize the event, which saw people run and walk up to 5 kilometers.
It's incredible to see the support from the community. It's been incredible to see the community want to come out and volunteer. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association, we put this on because it's a core teaching of the Holy Prophet to serve humankind and serve mankind. So that's why our youth are trying to put that into practice in the community.
The fundraiser is part of a 10-year commitment from the organization to raise $100,000 for the hospital over the course of 10 years. And the Saskatoon Rowing Club hosted a paddle party on Saturday. The rowing club invited canoeists and kayakers to join their last local event of the season at Pike Lake. The event featured both a 5-kilometer race and a 300-meter sprint.
It's special. We're innovating. You know what? We want to have a good time, and create a bit of a legacy and for all three sports. Yeah, it was just awesome.
The event was Saskatchewan's first regatta featuring rowing, kayaking, and canoeing. Coming up, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders announce a partnership with Co-op on delivering a landmark community zone. The Saskatchewan Rough Riders announced they are partnering with Co-op to deliver a landmark community zone at Mosaic Stadium. Nearly 2,000 tickets will be up for grabs in the community zone at every home game going forward, which is located in the upper east side of the stadium. The tickets will be priced at $20 each, with Labor Day priced at $30, making them the most affordable seats in the stadium. The riders say accessibility and affordability were top of mind when discussing this initiative.
You know, a couple of things we thought about when we were talking with Co-op around this is just the accessibility and ease, quite frankly. So you can head into Co-op as you're getting eggs and milk or whatever, and pick up rider tickets, or as you're getting gas, you can pick up rider tickets, and that's really throughout the province, all four corners of the province. Co-op's reach is really, really unmatched.
The community zone tickets will be available to Co-op members across Saskatchewan. They can be purchased at participating Co-op gas bars, food stores, and home and building locations. The Saskatoon Hilltops went to Calgary and laid a thumping on the Colts yesterday. Saskatoon got out to a 20-3 lead at halftime thanks to a pair of field goals and 2 passing touchdowns, part of a 5-touchdown game for quarterback Brexton Elias. In the third, 4 straight trips to the end zone made the game out of reach for Calgary as the Hilltops cruised to a 51-3 win. That brings the team 4-1 after opening the season with a loss. Saskatoon's road streak continues as they will face Edmonton on Sunday. They'll be back at the SMF field the following week against Regina. Well, a Regina pastry chef has returned from an international competition with a prize.
It was completely different, cooking in a different climate, and that kind of humidity was something I wasn't used to, but it was really exciting.
Emma Compton finished 3rd at the catering business contest. She owns her own pastry, in the competition, she led a team for her friend's catering business, plating more than 1,000 desserts, including panna cotta and macarons. In Canada's own, Seth Rogen was the big winner at last night's Emmy Awards.
I'm legitimately embarrassed by how happy this makes me, and to be standing up here with all these people. These are the best people I know.
The studio set a new record with 13 Emmy wins, including Best Comedy Series. The show also won for writing and directing, with Rogen also picking up Best Acting Award. Meanwhile, Jean Smart took home the Best Actress in a Comedy prize. This was her 4th Emmy for her role in Hacks. And have you ever heard of the World's Breakfast Championship? Well, it's a new thing, and there's a lot of excitement in Peru as they advocate for their pan con chicharron, a pork sandwich. It's in their finals after multiple rounds featuring 16 countries. They're up against Venezuela. People in Peru are taking this quite seriously, even dressing up like pigs to cheer on their pork sandwich. And Humpty Dumpty has taken a big fall, and now police are investigating. A statue at a mini golf course in New Jersey has been toppled and left down the street. Police are looking for 2 pranksters who did this around 4 a.m. last week. Hopefully, in this case, all the king's horses and his men can put him together again. And a historic night at the Vatican, turning St. Peter's Square into a music stage for a massive free concert.
Make some noise for God.
The concert marks the Vatican's Jubilee year and Pope Leo's 70th birthday, and you're watching that on CTV News Channel. That is all the time we have. We're back at 6 a.m. tomorrow with Your Morning Saskatchewan. Have a good night.